Hey, hey, hey. Here we are. Hi. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. I always say good morning because it's morning in Los Angeles, but hi. Welcome to Convos and Coffee this Tuesday. Um, how's everybody? I got my coffee. I want to tell you about this delicious coffee I'm drinking today called Peerless Coffee. And this is from California. It's from Oakland, but they have they have these, what they call, they got golden bean medals for being one of the most recognized small batch coffee roasters. And Eduardo and I are really loving this coffee. Because I like, as much as we all love our coffees, I can't have too strong of coffee. I like it to kind of be in a middle, in a sort of not too bold, but bold that it's tasty, but not. Anyway, I'm not making any sense today. I'm just waking up because I'm eating my coffee. Anyway, good morning. Hi, welcome everybody. I'm excited to talk to you today, and I'm excited to talk to my guest today, a very old dear friend of mine named Malin Akerman. She's an actress. She's Swedish and Canadian and American, and she's so many things. And one of the things she is a lot of sunshine. That's what she is. So you know her from, literally, I feel like everything. From one of my favorite movies, The Heartbreak Kid, and recently Billions. She was in The Watchmen. Oh my God, the list goes on and on. 29 Dresses, so many things. So, hi, Venezuela. So, I'm going to invite her in now. Wow, you guys, Wales, look at all this. Everybody from everywhere, French. I love you guys. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get her in here. There we go. Here we go. Okay, great. Mexico, Australia, London. Wow, this is kind of awesome.
Hi.
Hi, beauty. Welcome. Good morning.
This is so lovely. I love your coffee cup. Can you hear
Hold
me?
on. Thank you. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Oh, why?
Let me see. My microphone seems to be on. Let me just.
Maybe, hold on a second. Maybe mine is low. Oh, it's me. I got it. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I think I'm gonna invest in the new phone again. I need it bigger. I think I
They
need
get
it
you every
bigger.
time.
Right?
Yeah,
I feel
I
like I
know.
need, yeah.
Soon we're
How
just
are
going to
you,
be
beauty?
holding our computers after a while.
You know what? I feel like every week you're like, oh, there's something new to learn about your phone, or, right?
Yeah. My
Always.
son is still teaching me. He shows me how to do things. I'm like, how'd you do that? He's like, Mom, how do you not know? And he's 11. So, we're learning.
I honestly, they know so much more than we do on so many things.
Yeah.
Like somebody
For
was saying
real.
to me yesterday that, like, when you look at some of this new generation, like younger generation, the stuff that their brain has sort of taken in because of what they're exposed to, that they're like almost like from an emotional intelligence standpoint, not just
Yeah.
tech, they know a lot.
Like
A
way
lot.
more than I knew when I was 11. Definitely. The things that come out of his mouth sometimes, and we had a conversation just recently where I was like, buddy, we've really taken back YouTube because we're not big fans of YouTube, and like because you can go down a rabbit hole. I don't mind when there's like some cool videos and whatnot, but if you're not guiding it, if you're not like typing it in, it takes you down a big rabbit hole, and it'll come out sometimes and have all these conversations, and I'm going, okay, I think we need to like pull back on YouTube because you're basically being raised by a big brother that we haven't like sussed out and doesn't have
Yeah.
our morals and values. So it's really interesting, but it has taught him a lot as well. So to be fair, his argument is always like, he'll say something. I go, where'd you hear that? That's so cool. He's like, YouTube told you it was good. I was like, ah.
Well, yeah, but I don't know about you, but my boy, his whole YouTube stuff that and by the way, I love this conversation because I'm always talking about the importance of it for kids.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer and like putting up a lot of boundaries around it. And
Yeah,
but it's hard. Not all parents can do that all the time, you know.
totally.
Like it takes a lot of
It's so hard.
work on our part to stay on it.
Yeah.
But my son watches on YouTube, or did. Now he's less into it because he's 13 and almost 14. And so they kind of go through their phases. But he watches, like, he'll watch some guy who's like put up a bunch of skateboards around a pool and he's going to jump from one skateboard to the other
Yeah,
and then watch these things flip
smart.
out until he falls in the pool. And he watches that for like 45 minutes.
Totally.
I was like, it's kind of like, it's just Jackass. He's watching Jackass. He's watching Johnny Knoxville, which we watched. It was a TV show. We thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Just doing
Yeah.
all these pranks.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny because that's what he watches.
Well, is that brain numbing TV stuff? It's like, and I don't mean to say brain numbing, but it's that stuff of like watching a train wreck. It's kind of like all the reality TV shows and all that, you want to see people do it in real time in real life. And my son is completely into that stuff too. And it's just crazy
Yeah.
stuff that you wouldn't believe. But of course they do it for YouTube. And then, anyway,
Yeah.
so it's been we've had a lot of conversations about it, and you're right, it is, for us, it's the biggest battle in our house is devices and screen time and all that, and sometimes you just want to give up, like you're like, I'm so tired, just
Yeah.
go do you, and I'm gonna do me right now because I can't, don't call me mom for the next hour, I just need to be me for an hour.
Yeah, no.
So
Listen, everyone is struggling. I think every
yeah,
parent is going through this. My daughter, we talked about, my daughter just went to college, and
crazy.
I would not want to go back 5 years because
Yeah,
I feel like when I was in her 4 years, whatever, when she was in that eighth and ninth grade moment, it just is a lot. Listen, even just from our kids, just our own health and standpoint, like we all of us, everybody out there, we all need to take mental breaks and just allow ourselves to
yeah,
just be present with the people we're with, put our phones away. We don't allow them at dinner. We're just very more like conscientious about it.
yeah,
Even I am. I kind of like put it away so it's not the thing I'm looking at or I'm focused on when I'm with them.
totally.
So, I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to do these conversations, aside from like you being a people person, which I know we are, so aside from that, I felt like it was a way to connect with our community every week that's real and not one
Lovely.
that you're just, coming up with things to post. Like it's just felt like more authentic and natural to kind of say, hey, what's going on? And whatever, have good
Yeah,
conversations, learn something. Um, because I think that that's the thing that's missing. I will say, I don't know if you saw it, but I think it's in the New York Times, and there's an article right now about even just like not just social media, but and all the restrictions they're putting on in all the schools, but also just the pressure that kids are under and how it's not making them better.
yeah,
And I think that
absolutely.
that pressure also comes from constantly just looking at what other people are doing,
Sure, absolutely.
right?
I mean,
Not intentionally, but you're always just looking at everyone's life thinking, oh, they're doing something better than me. That's more
for
fun.
sure.
They're always
And
happy. I'm not, whatever that is.
well, it's that social media veneer that's not real, where people, what was it a while back where you had like women on their social media, on their Instagram, are like happy life, happy husband,
Hashtag
happy.
blessed.
And then the most Googled thing was like, is my husband cheating on me? Is my there's this dichotomy where you're like, yeah, hashtags are not real. We
Yeah,
all
no,
put
no,
on this
no, no,
thing.
no,
And that's the
no,
thing
no,
for
no.
kids who don't know that, and they're watching this and they're just getting in and getting on. And I don't know, I can only see it through I can only say this too. I'm really happy I have a son because he's mostly interested in video games and not social
Yeah,
media. And then I see girls that his girlfriends his age who are all about TikTok and like the makeup stuff and the hair and it's all very much getting into the teenage years, but so early. I
yeah,
feel like, I mean, I was playing with Barbies till I was 13. I mean, I was
yeah,
way behind.
yeah,
Once I hit
yeah,
high school, then it became real. Then I was like, oh my God, boys are looking at me, barely, but kind of. Um, so it definitely is, I'm going to share a little something right now. I am sat in a tiny little office space, um, overlooking my son's school it's actually a church office space. They've been so kind to let me and my husband take turns coming here every day. because our son, for the first time ever, he just started middle school. It's a new school. It goes from 6th to 12th grade. It's a very small school. It's lovely. But he developed severe anxiety this year, and we have never experienced anything quite like it. He's always had a little bit of like separation anxiety. We've struggled with little things ever since COVID gave us lots of lovely gifts. And
Yeah, all
so,
of us, on all of our,
yeah,
yeah.
every parent I've talked to, there's been something that's kind of affected our kids. And for him, it was the world came into focus. And his biggest fear is that he realized that it's not older people who are dying. It's everyone from, for a friend of ours, her uncle died and he was 40 and he went, wait a second. So you could potentially die like now. And that just kind of spun out of control. And it really hit a pinnacle this year. So the only way to get him to go into the school was if my husband and I were sitting in the car in the parking lot, so he knew where we were, because his biggest fear is that we drop him off and then he never sees us again. We never come back and pick him up. So it's like illogical, and he knows that it's illogical, but he can't help it. So we're like, well, we can't sit in a car. And it was the heat wave. And we're like, what are we doing? What do we do? Now we've got a lot of people. We brought in like therapists and like occupational. So we're really lucky that we're working with a bunch of people and we've got a plan. But it was lovely because we looked over and we're like, does that say church office? And it's kind of like right beside the school. And we're like, let's just go in and see if they have an office space. And we'll like throw them a couple $100 a week. I don't know. We walked in and talk about divine intervention. They're like, we've got a free office space. You take it for however
So
long you
nice.
need it.
That's
So
so nice.
now we're just like, he's having a great time at school. We're slowly going to taper off. But it's been really, it's been a huge challenge. It's horrible too to see. I'm sure some of you out there have experienced something similar, but your kid going through a full-on panic attack. I mean, he was
Yeah.
sat in the car holding onto the seatbelt going, I can't, mom, I can't, I'm terrified. And he's not there. Like there's no logic and there's no
Yeah.
reasoning. And
Yeah.
you're in tears. You're just like, oh my God. And you can't do anything about it except for what you can do.
Well,
But so it's
Well,
been quite a challenge.
I'm sorry that you all have to go through, but I just want to reassure you, just because I am those few like years ahead of you in terms of the
Yeah,
parenting cycle. All I want to say to you is you are not alone. Adults and children alike have all gone through so much shift
yeah,
that I don't even think we were totally aware of. And maybe now that things are kind of, I mean, slowly, the world is what it is, but like, that was really hard. And I think that, again, it goes back to the information that we're getting. There's too much information coming at them. And what people don't
totally.
realize, like parents don't realize, I said this to a friend recently, her son is struggling. And I said, you're expecting something of him that maybe his maturity is not at yet. And
Totally.
there's no rush. We're not in a rush in life to reach a
No,
moment where we're supposed to do something. Some kids are super fast, some aren't. And how we process this is just individual to all of us.
totally.
So I just think there's a lot of information, and that information has created a collective anxiety in so many people and children alike. And listen, he's got a loving mother and father that are in his life, and like that's all. Hug him and love him and
Oh, we
let him,
do.
and
Yeah.
that safety will seep in, and then all of a sudden it will, he's going to find his groove. But I will tell you, it's definitely something that a lot of people are going through. I had it myself, by the way. I wasn't aware of it because I think I put
Sure.
it away. But my son, during all of it, he was also like twitching, and I was like, "What's happening right now? Get him off the
Yeah.
computer." And then and then my daughter, we constantly had to have conversations about things. So I think it's like it's but I'm sorry you have to go through it, but it will pass. I know that it will get better.
Totally. This
Sure.
too shall pass, as we all know. And just
Yeah.
seeing in the comments, there's a lot of people saying that too, that they've been through it. And the more you share, it's that
Yeah.
collective feeling where you're like, you're not alone, because we all go through stuff. We have to
Mm-hmm.
go through stuff in order to come to the other side. There can't be light without dark, And so it's just when you're in it, it's hard, but you also know that we're going to come out. And also, I think that's a really good moment of growth.
Yeah.
And sometimes it has to hit this, there has to be a catalyst and it has to explode in order for us to really open up and look at it and kind of peel back
Yeah.
and really work hard. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is nice to, I think the thing that I'm learning in life is to be better at being vulnerable and sharing, because I feel the same way when I did start doing that, which was, by the way, only like 6 years ago. I've been learning because I've always been so strong and surviving and but
You mean sharing like the personal
yeah,
struggles of like
yeah,
things that you're going
just
through
in
instead of it just being
general.
like, I'm going to plug through. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
instead of,
relate to that a lot. I relate to that a lot because I think we both, even though, and I mean, those of you that know that Malin is Swedish, but you also grew up in Canada. So you
yeah,
moved around. You had, your parents divorced, my parents divorced. Like I think when you have kind of this cross country, I'll call it, upbringing, you do sort of adapt quickly to new environments, but you're not really stopping maybe to, I don't want to say
well,
smell roses, but you sometimes it's harder to kind of share those things because
yeah.
they're not embedded in us, you know?
And if you're not, I feel like this generation, what's so cool is that they're learning the language and the tools. And like, I didn't have any of that as a
Yeah.
kid at all.
Yeah.
It was very just like, get through it and you pull your bootstraps up and you go. And and then you kind of deal with whatever you're feeling inside, however you want to deal with it,
Yeah.
which wasn't, the healthy way. And then later on in life, you're like, hello, therapist. I
Hi.
got some stuff to unpack.
Hi,
I
can
don't
we
know
go
how to
back
do
20
this.
years? Can we just talk
I got a
about?
lot of years to unpack. So it's interesting, I'm very happy to be able to be, there's so many feelings. I'm sad that we're seeing, so much of this anxiety, and you're right. And I think a lot of it is, they're discovering now it is a lot of the social media, and, we just got to be conscious of it all.
Yeah,
But in general, I think everyone's gone through their hardships and everyone has, it develops in different ways. So it's just finding the coping mechanisms and learning it at a young age so you know how to kind of move forward in life and how to deal with things.
I think the other
So
thing too, as a parent, and I'm sure you're discovering this, and it's not going to get easier in the next few years. So just buckle in.
cool.
The teen years, it's just not. If people think, oh, when they're little, and I'm like, oh, enjoy it, honey. You have no idea. Now,
Oh,
it
God.
doesn't mean every kid is different, but I do think that just the growth and puberty, whatever,
Sure.
definitely hits, and then you just have to kind of lock in those few years, and when you do, they mature out of it. But in those years, you just got to lock in. And mine hit right when COVID was, and my daughter was in 8th grade going in ninth. And I had to really say no to a lot of work that I was like, I can't go wherever for 9 months. Like I kind of feel like I need to, not, I kind of feel I have to be here. Like
Yeah.
this is not going to survive.
Yeah.
And so I had to make those decisions and choices in my life. And I'm so grateful I did because I know now, I see where my kids are, and I'm with one of them, I'm on the other side. But had I not made some of those decisions to really keep it tight, I think it would have been very, very much more challenging. But I will say that what I was going to say to you is I think that parenting also is something that it just does continuously, and maybe it's just life. It brings out all these things that we sort of buried in our own childhood, and things that we plugged through that
Yeah.
we survived, right?
Totally.
And we did, and that's what we knew to do. And hey, good for us. We were strong enough to get through it.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden something happens and we're reliving a moment, and it brings something up in you, and you're going, oh, wait a second. Like, my daughter has tools in life that I did not have until maybe I just learned it with her.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I believe
She
it.
went to a badass all-girls school. She was learning things that I was like, oh, wow, if somebody had taught me that when I was 13,
Yeah.
I'd be like, the president. What is
Yeah.
going on? So I was like,
Can you still be?
yeah, these are incredible like
Yeah.
life lessons, but listen, listen, you and I, like, I feel like we're scrappy in that way. We figure it out. You know what I mean? You give us a
Yeah.
challenge. You say this door is closed. We're gonna be like, all right, there's got to be another door
Let me
open.
knock
Come on,
on it
right?
anyway
Let
and
me
see
knock
who
on that door.
answers. Yeah, totally. I'm not
Right?
taking no for an answer.
I'm not taking no. So I feel like that comes from the grit of not having things kind of laid out for you. So
Sure.
that's a really great thing. And I do think our kids need that. And I definitely, and Eduardo and I have talked a lot about that. Like, how do you create the grit when it's not sort of built into their world the same
Yeah,
way? They're not having the same
totally.
struggles we did, and all that. But but I think that all of these things are things that, like for your son, I think they're things that when he gets past them, they're like a little medal on his,
Totally.
self-esteem belt of going, I got through that. If it happens again, I'm going to get through
Yeah,
it,
and like
you
you
know?
said, grit. It gives a little bit of grit. And I've always said to him too, like when you turn 14 or whatever the legal age is here, I don't know. I started at 14. I was a bus girl at 14. I was like, as soon as you're allowed to work in America, you're gonna go work. Like you're gonna go get a job and you're gonna work on the weekends and maybe you'll work at a surfer shop. I don't know, but you're gonna work. You're gonna make your own money. You're gonna figure it out
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not coming from my bank
No.
account. You want to buy yourself a car when you get older? You're gonna have
Yeah.
to do that yourself.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that, and it's just because you learn so much from it, and as much as I would love to give him everything, it's so hard sometimes because, I grew up with so little. And so to then be able to support and have a little bit more money than what I used to have when, we didn't have a car my whole life. But I remember being in Toronto and my dad would pick me up from daycare in the dead of winter in Toronto. It's fucking minus 55.
Uh,
And I'd have a little bike seat in the back, and I would stick my hands out in the freezing cold and stick them up his back, and it's great memories. I didn't know as a kid, I didn't care, but we literally didn't even have the money to get a car or gas. It was just, and it created beautiful memories, but it also, I was really grateful, and it was really just like one gift at your birthday and one gift at Christmas, and you cherish those gifts so much. So it's just, anyway, it's
it
just
gives
a
you know what? It
consciousness of,
gives me chill. Literally, I just got chills when you shared that, and thank you for sharing it. Because I think it gives me chills because I think that, when you probably reflect on that, for you, you're like, wow, that's wild. Like that's like at the time it seems completely normal. And then I have this. But I think that that's what makes you such a grounded person. Like, let's not even talk about your work and
yeah,
as an actor and everything, but as
that's
a human being, first and foremost, and most importantly, you're incredibly grounded. And I like respond to that because those are the things that, like, even my mother-in-law, okay, my mother-in-law came from nothing,
yeah.
poverty. She lived in a tunnel for a week, barely on bread during World War II,
My
I think it was,
God.
like literally madness, right? And um these memories are the things that help her um tap into things in her work. They help her stay grounded in no matter what. Like, I mean, she's achieved like the highest of the high of what we would
Sure.
ever want in terms of our
Totally.
profession. Doesn't get any better, right?
Yeah,
But that's not what makes her tick, right? That's not how
totally.
she thinks of the world. That's not how she looks at people. That's not the gratitude that she experiences. And it's certainly not the values that she placed in her children.
Sure.
And so one of the things I respect the most is that that part of her is very much alive in her. And it's not a part that she's ashamed of. It's a part that she literally goes, oh, no, 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 no. This is how it was for me.
Yeah,
And I even told her at one point she wasn't really sharing that with her grandchildren. And I was like, you need to tell your granddaughter. Like, she's like being
totally.
all saucy with you. You need to be like,
Yeah,
right? That's
totally.
not, you get
Let
to
me
choose
set
a
you straight.
dress.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. And I think that's such a respect. It just breeds respect from this younger generation. And I think that intergenerational connection is lost
yeah.
these days. You don't, it used to be that you would, I mean, I didn't even experience it. I experienced it a little bit. I was really close with my great grandmother and my grandmother on my mother's side, who've now both passed. But I always loved spending time with them because they'd have these great stories.
Yeah.
Now, both of them happened to be great storytellers, which also helped. So it was interesting and fascinating and had such a joie de vivre. And my grandmother would go around and whistle and had birds everywhere. And she's just an interesting
That's
woman. But, you know,
funny.
it was awesome. I loved it. I loved that there were birds in the house, and but it was. I feel like in this day and age, we've just lost a little bit of that, or at least the people that I know in my tight knit group, because we're so. My family lives across the Atlantic. They're
Yeah.
in Sweden. My husband's family's in England. We don't see them that often, and so we have our chosen family here, which is really awesome. But I do wish that we had a little bit more of that. I love when my family does come to visit because my son and my dad will go off and play golf. We don't play golf. Don't even know how to hold the thing right, whatever, the club. And so they go off and they do their thing and they have their moments and then they share stories. And I think that's such an important thing to, like you said, just to come back to a bit of reality and go, you got it real good. Like,
Yeah.
you know how
Yeah.
these guys grew up and
Yeah.
how we grew up. And like, so thank the stars for what you've got.
I will tell you, I think one of the things that's amazing about social media and about this new sort of, I think, younger generation is that they are sharing their vulnerabilities more.
Yeah.
They are saying, hey, this is what it is. Like, I love seeing the authentic piece of people that are willing to kind of go, this is what happened. Because their stories do change lives. I firmly believe that by sharing stories, we affect other people who can relate to that and who maybe hear it differently. Sometimes when it's our own story, we can, like, I don't know, we can sort of think we're alone in that. It only happened to us or whatever that may be. And then all of a sudden you hear somebody else and it really opens up your empathy
Yeah.
and your ability to kind of connect and sort of understand your own story.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, like if my parents were immigrants, like I'd like blocked that all out. I was born here. Like, I'd not like blocked it out. It was part of my life, but it wasn't something that I didn't say that correctly. It's not that I blocked it out, but it wasn't something that I leaned into to deeply understand my identity.
Sure.
This is part of my life. This is how it was. But now when people really speak about identity, they really speak about, what language their family speaks or what kind of, belief systems they have at home or things that they do for their family dinners or what they cook. These little details
Yeah.
that I maybe just kind of thought now I'm like, oh, wow, I so love that. That's so a part of like every piece of who I am. And
Yeah.
so I find myself celebrating those things even more
Yeah.
than
The
ever.
traditions, and they do it. I feel like here at the schools that Seb has gone to, he just got out of a charter school, and they did, every student in the class got to bring in a meal that is, representative of their culture and tell a little bit about their family
Yeah.
and their ancestors. I love that they all get to like taste, experience, hear about it. So they're getting this cultural experience within the school, under the roof of the school. And I feel like that's really nice to bring all these cultures together, and that they're celebrating their ancestors and their cultures and where they come from, which
Yeah.
which is lovely. I mean, I grew up in Toronto, which is happens to be the most ethnically diverse city in the world. So it was really cool growing up there. You have like Little Italy and Greek Town, and
Yeah.
everywhere you go, you're exposed to all these different cultures. And that was really cool because it made me as a kid go, oh, I really want to go to Greece because I love the food. I'd love to go there and eat the authentic food and see what it's all like. And,
Yeah.
so the exposure is really lovely. But you're right. A lot of people came over in those days, and even like, your parents or grandparents would have said, like, don't speak the language. You got to blend in and pretend like you're just like everyone else. And,
100%. I was just
yeah,
going to say that. I just remember saying to my mom, like, speak English when you pick me up from school,
yeah,
and
yeah,
now I'm like,
sure.
I can't wait to practice my languages with
Yeah,
her and
yeah,
whatever. I don't think about that at all. And my kids speak French and Italian. Like, we don't,
that's
we're
lovely.
super proud of it. And I think everyone should be. We're all blended
Yes,
from
we are
everywhere. It's
happily,
like,
beautifully
yeah,
blended.
we sure are. Wow,
I
South
love it.
Africa. My God, there are
I
people
know
from
there's so many.
everywhere
I'm just
right
looking
now.
at all the pop-ups here. It's
Wait,
amazing.
you have to tell me about you recently hosted that big musical
Eurovision.
Eurovision. Was
Yeah.
that fun?
It was
Wait,
amazing.
but
It was.
do you sing? You sing. You were in a band, right?
So I attempted to sing, is what I
Okay,
like
okay.
to say.
That's better than me.
um,
I've never attempted to
I
sing.
attempted to sing. It was so fun. Did sort of the LA circuit, but it was never gonna be. I mean, I would have loved it, but I definitely love music, and if I could have chosen, I would have loved to have been a rock star. I mean, what a dream. Super happy to be an actress. It's great. But yeah, so music has always sort of been in my life. And then I got asked to host since Sweden won the year before. We had won the whole Eurovision, which is basically, for those who don't know, is like a big song contest. It's every country sings a song and one of them wins. You do like the sort of the competitions within your own country. The winners then come for the international big Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
And it's such an honor to have been asked to do it because it's something that I've grown up with. And it's like getting together as a family and watching the Nobel Prize
Oh,
ceremony or watching the Oscars or so then to be up there hosting, first of all, I was about to pee my pants every time I went on the stage. It was so nerve-wracking
I would pee my
because
pants.
it's
That's
live,
yeah.
like 200 million people are watching and you just have to not think about it. But the other thing I didn't realize was, you know, we it was 6 days. We had three live shows, two semifinals and a final, but they also sell tickets to all the rehearsals because it's
Oh,
such a huge, so every rehearsal we were doing it live without being live on television for 9,000 people. So we did that show, what was it, four times for each show. It was 12 times. We did 12 shows within 6 days. It was nuts
that's so
and so much
cool.
fun, but absolutely nuts. Such an honor, such great artists. It was really special. It'll go down in the books for me. And my mother-in-law is a choreographer, or
Oh,
was on the West End, and she choreographed some of Eurovision's winners. Some of
really?
their yeah. So
How
she got
fun
to
is
come and be in the
that?
audience, and we got to present her, and so it was really really special. It was
How
really
fun
amazing.
is that?
Yeah,
That's so cool. I love live because your adrenaline must have been through the roof. I mean, like, did you
was.
like drink or eat anything for like 6 days?
I just ate
Probably
marble
were like,
chocolate, sweetest chocolate all the time just to keep my energy going.
yeah. I mean,
But
yeah, it's
it
wild. That's
was,
so
yeah, it
fun.
was wild.
I,
It
you
was
know
really,
what?
really wild.
I get even in like the Olympics, I get really emotional when there's like a lot of talent, whether that's sports or like even watching America's Got Talent. When I watch a bunch of talent in a room of people from all over coming together, there's
Oh my
something
God.
very emotional about that to me.
A
I
hundred
get really
percent.
choked up.
100%. I'm a huge World Cup girl. I don't really watch
Yeah,
sports,
love.
but when it's the World
Oh
Cup,
my God.
I love it because it's countries
Yeah,
it's like it's so passionate, it's so
yeah,
supportive. It's so cool to see all the world
yeah.
coming together. I'm with you. I know there's like such a vibe
I
about
love
it.
it.
Huge, huge
My
fan.
son is a soccer player, so yeah, we watch it with
Amazing.
like,
Of course, he has to be
completely.
yeah, with an Italian father. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Although no, Eduardo did not grow up doing it. He did
He
not grow
didn't?
up. No, he didn't.
Wow.
But now he's really. I mean, he's a skier. Eduardo skis and
Okay.
um, but he wasn't a soccer. He wasn't like a yeah. He wasn't a soccer, but now he is. Now he knows it
Sure.
all.
Now that your son's in
So
it, he's
now we're
excited
into
about
it.
it.
Yeah, we
I
love
love
it.
it.
We love it. So tell me before we finish. I just want to what do you like? What are you up to? I know you are working all the time, and I know you finished this awesome show,
I did.
which I don't know, Hunting Wives, which I
Yeah,
which I think is totally fun. And did you have a great time? We don't have to talk about it now because you're not promoting it yet. But
I had a blast.
what are you up to?
It,
What are you looking forward
it,
to?
I'm so excited. The Hunting Wives, which it's for Stars, and I think Amazon bought up Stars, so it's under the Amazon umbrella. But hopefully that'll come out in spring next
Okay,
year.
great.
It's
Okay, great.
such a fun show, guys. It's real. Like I want to say like Big Little Lies meets Yellowstone. And I'm a Texan woman, y'all. So, got the accent and everything.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness.
so
Have you
much
ever
fun to
done that
do.
before? Have you ever had to do that before? An
Not
act
not a
Southern?
Texan accent.
Yeah.
Nope. I've done South African accent once before, which was really difficult. Beautiful accent. I love it, but it was really tough to nail that one. But this is the first time I really had to do, a long-term accent in a show for 4 months and had a blast doing it. It was great.
Did you turn it off
Um,
and on? How did you find yourself going in and
I
out? Did you find yourself
ended
doing
up
it
Yeah, in the
more?
beginning, I was really nervous and really aware. And by the end, I was kind of just doing it off and on set, just talking to people like, y'all want to go out and have a cocktail tonight? You're just like, oh, wait, was that? Did I? You just get into it. It's such a fun accent. But I'm about to go off actually on Thursday this week to go do an improv film
Oh,
in Wales, in England, with Josh Hutcherson and Martin Freeman. So we're going
whoa.
to do a whole film improvised. We have the whole outline. And so I'm very excited. I'm very nervous, but it's beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to working with these two actors who are
Well,
phenomenal actors.
they're both amazing
Yeah.
and you're a good company. And, but have you ever done improv? Like, is that something, do
So
you like?
I'm not an improv gal. Like I've never studied improv, but I did do a show with Joe Swanberg. It was an anthology show, and it was one episode with Orlando Bloom and Kate McCucci. And we did it. It was an improv show, and so I have done it for like one episode,
Yeah.
which was nerve wracking. And I think it's different. When you say improv, it's not like the UCB theater where they're doing like funny improv because there's such a technique to
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
There's
God.
so much, like there's a lot of studying that goes into that. This is, it's not a hilarious comedy that we're doing. It's a story about love. And so, we'll have the outline and hopefully some of our truths will come out as our own experiences as well as mixed in with the storyline of where we need to get to. So I don't know. We'll see. It's
Wow.
all,
I did some improv, but then I did an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And most recently, that's my experience of like that thing. And I
yeah.
literally needed a shot of vodka at the end of the day. I was like, this is so
It's so
crazy.
nerve-wracking.
Now, obviously, doing it with Larry David,
Oh my
who
God.
is Larry
The
David,
master.
has its
Yeah.
own intimidation. And you're kind of like, it was him and John Hamm. Both I love.
Oh,
But I literally was like,
amazing.
and John is so smooth. Like he's just effortless in his way. But like Larry is producing, right? He like sees it all. So like
Totally.
you're in it with him and you're sort of like, is he looking like what's happening right now? I was,
Yeah.
but it is a blast.
Oh,
That's different, obviously, because I think it's a comedy and it has a certain specific rhythm. But you are, I know that you'll be amazing at it because you are such a free flowing
we'll
person.
see.
And I don't think it's for every actor.
Sure.
Like not all actors can do that. They kind of want to know what they're doing and they have to like, not everybody can kind of just throw it out the window and really like, just let themselves trust and make up and be able to be in the moment of being able to ad lib.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not easy. Yeah.
Well, we'll see, Sasha. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I look
It'll all
forward
go
to
well.
it. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, I
me
am
too.
first of all, I'm so glad to see you. Like I was happy to see you
honey.
the other night when we were going out and supporting
We're
all these
being fancy at
big and
Emmy parties.
fancy. I was happy to see Michelle. And
Yeah.
I just always adore you. You're always like sunshine, sunshine, and
Same,
everywhere you
hon.
go. And I just wish like lots of love. Like I hope that
Same.
I'm glad we could connect here, and I hope to see you and Jack, and
I
just like see you
would
guys
love
soon
that.
and do something when you get back. You're leaving on Thursday.
I leave on Thursday.
Great.
It's just for a week. We're shooting a movie in a
What?
week. So
You didn't
it's
say that.
nuts.
You have a week to do it.
Yeah, it's a week. I guess when you don't have lines to learn, you go in, you do your thing, and you get out, which is also kind of nice when you don't have to go home at the end of the night when you're really, really tired and learn lines. So
I would like
I know, looking forward
this.
to
I think this is awesome.
moving forward. This is maybe what we should do.
I think so, by the way. Can you imagine like doing some kind of a mystery series where you're just like, what do you
That would
think
be cool.
happened?
And
What
you're
do you
actually
think?
trying to
Making it up.
figure out only one person knows, and then the rest of us are actually. But that would be cool.
I like it.
I'd be into that.
I like
Okay.
it. Non-scripted.
Yes, I love it.
I love it. Oh, good. All right, sweetheart. Well,
Thanks so much for
take
having
care.
me, honey.
And
Thanks to
thank
everyone
you
who came
all
out.
for,
This has
yeah,
been so fun.
Thank you all for tuning in. Everybody's like, they're all still like
It's great.
writing from wherever. Yeah, love you and
I love you, honey.
have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thanks.
Okay,
You
and
too.
thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much. See
Bye.
you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.